disclosure. This is the most important thing, okay? It really is the journey that matters, probably not quite the destination. I think that's what we do wrong. Going to the destination is your IOP, 10, 11, 12, whatever you like it to be, and I think the journey, how we get there, is sometimes much more important than how low we actually get. And I think the journey there is what's important and what's been changing. You know about mix, there's a lot of ab-internal mix around in this world, and the bottom line is the fact that ab-internal mix restore your physiology. So if you think about it, that physiology is that average IOP is about 16. That's physiology, that's how God made your body. If you want your target IOP to be below that, you are not going to go for an ab-internal procedure. The percentage success is not there. So you need to go that low, below physiology. You're going to have to go abnormal. You're going to have to go non-physiological route. You're going to have to shunt it. You shunt your aqueous somewhere else. That's not where it's supposed to go, but that's how we're going to go low. You can shunt it with a trap, you can shunt it with a tube, you can shunt it with a deep sclerectomy, or you can shunt it with some devices. Simple as that. And we've had devices out there. So we've had Zen implant, and we've had PressFlow, which is making it easy for you to shunt. It's a fixed flow device. And these are the sort of results that we've been getting over the last few years. This is Zen implant, we're getting down to 14, 15. Remember those numbers, very familiar numbers. We're getting down to around about 15. PressFlow, this is PressFlow versus trabeculectomy study has been done. And again, PressFlow is sitting, which is the black line, about 14, 15. Compared to trabeculectomy, which is getting down to 12 and significantly better. So still, the PressFlow compared to trabeculectomy still wins in terms of the absolute IOP. The destination is better. The journey may be slightly different, but why the hell is the PressFlow not as good as trabeculectomy? Well, it's all about flow control, and even in PressFlow, it's a fixed flow device. It drips immediately, and not everybody is going to tolerate that drip. So even in sometimes in PressFlow, we want to control the flow by putting a nino suture inside to stent it to reduce the flow. So it's all about flow control, and this is how you can think about your trabeculectomy, that your conjunctiva is going to scar in the next post-operative 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks onwards, and the resistance is going to go up. And then you've got your scleral flap which control your flow, and as your conjunctival resistance go up, your pressure is going to go up. And then for the trabeculectomy, you can remove your suture, or you can laser your suture to lower the scleral flap resistance, and ultimately the combination of that gives you your IOP. And our job also is to lower the conjunctival resistance by having lots of mitomycin C, or whatever that we have in lowering conjunctival resistance and opening up the scleral flap. And that's the beauty of a trabeculectomy, that we can adjust the resistance. And that's the downside of trabeculectomy, because you have to adjust the resistance. You have to see them quite frequently, which is why we have fixed flow devices. But that's what and in deep sclerectomy is very similar. You create a decimal window that allows you flow, but that resistance kind of fixed. And then your conjunctival resistance goes up, which is why your IOP was like 6 post-op, and then they gradually go up. You can go near puncture to lower your resistance, but it's all about these two resistance. When it comes to a fixed flow device like a PressFlow or Zen, they're making it easy for you. It has a built-in resistance, so your pressure doesn't go quite as low. You're sitting around about 6 or 7, and your conjunctival resistance go up, and your pressure goes up. But you cannot remove that resistance that's built in to your Zen and your PressFlow. To make it easy for you, but we're also adding resistance, which is why in my book, it can never, ever be as low as a trabeculectomy because of the built-in resistance. While trap, you can lower your flap resistance by taking your sutures out. The adjustability and the maintenance can become an advantage. So trabeculectomy is about flow control. So nowadays, if you're going to do a trap, you're going to have to think about flow control. You've heard some of the difficult pediatric cases, you're going to have to get your flow control right. So for me, having an AC maintainer going in is important to keep your eye firm, and when you come to do your suturing, you can titrate your flow. You've got an AC maintainer going in. And releasable suture is a must. I'm not entirely sure why people still don't put in releasable suture, because you can remove them in clinic, which is much neater than a suture lysis. And for me, cover it with intact T-non, this is what 2025 trabeculectomy should look like, and we're getting better and better and better. And ironic, when you look at the literature, every few years, trabeculectomy results go better and better and better. So it's a 50-year-old operation that we're still getting better, because it's been challenged with all the new things, and we're not getting bled like this anymore. Tube is the same, and we all have this love-hate relationship with tubes. I think RMED probably still the #1 tube in this part of the world, or most parts of the world. It has a built-in flow resistance, so you don't go too low. People love that, it gives you immediate flow. But offset with a bar valve, who has no flow control, but a big plate, bar valve gets you lower, and it's been proven twice in randomized control trial that bar valve gives you lower pressure ultimately, but it has no flow control. So then there's a lot more complications, so that we do all these DIY things. We shove things into your bar valve, we puncture holes in the bar valve, we tie it off. Really crude control of flow to try to get the bar valve to work and avoid complication. Well, nowadays, we can live our life with an iPhone. We should do better than putting sutures and tying them off. We're talking about the pore tube, and this is the tube that you're going to be using. This is the tube that you should be using in the coming years. No one should be using a bar valve and an RMED anymore. And from a pore tube point of view, we shrink the size down a little bit. Now we've got better control, so we can stent it with the 6.0 Prolin. It's still stenting, so we're still relying on the interaction between the lumen and the stent, but then it gives us much better flow control. You see this small trickle of aqueous out of the tube now. So you put it in, and the pressure will be down quite predictably to the sort of high teens, low teens, high single figure digit. And then you can pull this stent out to give you a second opening to drop your pressure down, but you have to wait for encapsulation to occur around about 2-3 months down the line. So at least we've got some adjustability of tube, which is much safer and better than the bar valve, and ironically, I think it's better than an RMED. IOP, we're getting down to 12 point something. This is my 3-year result of the pore tube. So we're getting down low, and we're having a much better journey getting down there without the ups and downs that we used to have with the bar valve. This is the first adjustable flow device that is out on the market, and it's been around for a few years now. This is the iWatch, which is the first fully adjustable flow device. So this is magnetically controlled. I open and close it like a tap to titrate the pressure and to drain the fluid out. So it's got ruby bearing, it can turn like a tap, magnetically controlled. So this bit of the thing is called the iWatch. You can attach it to any tube that you like. And you can look at the video. So this is the big device. So you can see that there's got a magnet. I put a compass on it. It tells me it's open. Now I turn it with a magnet, and now I can close it. So I can close and open whenever I need. And when you fit it on the human eye, it's set to close. You see that there is no drainage at all. I get zero flow, which is what I want. I can turn it on, I can turn it off whenever I need to. If you want to do a DSEC and DMAC, I turn it off for you. Keep your gas in the eye for a bit, I turn it back on a day or two later. You know, it is phenomenal control of flow that we need. And we do that now in clinic. Not go to theater, not tying them off. We check them with a compass, we adjust them with a magnet in clinic. And that's the convenience that we want to have. And again, we're getting them down to the level that we need, which is 12 point something, but a much smoother, flatter IOP curve than you've ever seen because of adjustability. I can even retrospectively fit it to the bar valve and the RMED that you've had in your eye 10, 20, 15 years ago. So if you've got late hypotony 10 years later because you are a terrible burnout uveitic, I can fit an iWatch to it, take the tube out and attach it to it. So that now I can fit a flow control in your bar valve or in your RMED. So this is retrospectively fitting what we call an iWatch rescue. Then you can see that I've taken the tube out of the eye, I patch the hole, I attach it to the iWatch. Now I give you flow control in the tube that you've already got in your eye. What's coming? This is what's coming. So this is calibrate. So this is now as pressure flow on steroid. So now we've got this implant that drains like a pressure flow, but it's got multiple channels inside that we can switch which channel we like by firing a laser at the gate, and the gate will open and close repeatedly. So you can now pick your flow. Little flow, medium flow, large flow. You can adjust it whenever you need, right? So we fit it in, and then we put mitomycin C. Now we're creating a trabeculectomy without you cutting a flap, without you putting a suture. This is allowing physics and technology to do it for you. So we can then adjust the, I don't know whether I can play this video, it adjusts the flow for you by shining a laser at these little metal gates. So it has a baseline flow in the middle. As the pressure goes up, because conjunctival resistance goes up, we can then laser one of the gates, switch open to a bigger channel, so we add channels on top. So it's a bit like taking out the releasable, but now we've got calculated flow. So we can then engage a second channel, engage a third channel. Unlike taking out the sutures, I can always revert back. So the reversibility for us is key. Finally, this is what's coming in the next 10 years. From the iWatch company, now we have a true eye valve. This is the only true valve that we've got in a human eye. This is a valve. It's not an armored valve, that is not a valve. This is a proper valve that would open when the pressure goes above 10. And when it goes above 10, it will fully open and offer you zero resistance. But when the pressure drops down below 10, your valve will shut. So you will never go below 10. And as soon as it hit above 10, it will fully open. That's amazing if you come to think about it. I fit an eye valve in your eye. I can set that pressure to 10, whatever manufacturer like, and then it will open when pressure goes above it. And all we need is for that to drain into an empty space or a low resistance space, then we are done in glaucoma. So that's pretty much it in terms of flow control. We need it, whether you want a trickle, whether you want a large flow. Now what we need really is all about control. Thank you very much.